Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. It is right now, you are right here. My name is Manuel, and it's my pleasure to welcome you. Today is day 33 of the show, and I have to congratulate you for making the best decision of the day to spend some time with me. Let's get started. Let me go ahead and begin with an unambiguous statement. If you are an immigrant minority woman belonging to a minority religion, or a minority woman belonging to a minority religion and are the daughter of immigrants, and you can shout at the President of the United States on national television during the State of the Union address, and then you can go home, sleep peacefully, keep your job, and do it all again next year, you are not enduring authoritarianism. That's the baseline we're going to begin with. You see, during the State of the Union, Representatives Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib engaged in a one-sided shouting match against the President of the United States. So I posted something blunt on social media about it. I said, America is a better country than these two deserve. And I meant it. I meant it then, and I mean it now. Now, because I don't live in an echo chamber, I do have friendships with people who don't always agree with me. And one of these friends, someone I genuinely respect, challenged me. They asked if I would feel the same if they were Christians booing. They said my words sounded sexist. And then they asked an excellent and powerful question. I must concede that. What's the point of bringing it up? Are you just saying people should accept life here because it could be worse elsewhere? Like I said, that's a powerful question. And honestly, I think most people probably wouldn't have had a good response. But I, your humble host, am not most people. So let me lay it out for you point by point. Let's first get something out of the way immediately. This isn't about gender. It's not about religion. It's about rhetoric versus reality. There's a repeated narrative from certain politicians that the United States is uniquely oppressive, especially towards minorities and women. If you're going to make that claim, it has to survive comparison. Representative Omar began life in the United States as a refugee from Somalia. Somalia does not operate under a political culture where open disrespect of their president before a national audience would ever be tolerated. In fact, it could be deadly. Representative Tlaib often speaks about Palestinian governance and conditions in that region. She is the daughter of Palestinian immigrants who chose refuge in the United States. Again, public dissent and disrespect towards leadership in the Palestinian territories by a woman can carry consequences far beyond bad press. This comparison isn't personal, it's structural. Because despite leftist propaganda, here's the reality in America. Two minority women belonging to a minority religion accomplish what so few of their fellow citizens do. They were elected to Congress. These two congresswomen, as is their right in the United States, publicly denounce the country that gave them everything. They then choose to use their unique position to disrupt a national presidential address. Result? They face zero state retaliation, as it should be. And that is not oppression. That is political freedom at a level most of the world does not experience. Now, let's talk about decorum, because I do want to concede a point. Yes, politics has gotten loud. Yes, Republicans have embarrassing moments during past presidential addresses. I haven't forgotten, nor would I ignore them. But I also remember those moments where Republicans were disruptive were widely condemned, including by their own leadership. That's how standards are supposed to function. The State of the Union isn't a college debate outside a library. It's a constitutional ritual. If there is any moment in American politics that deserves baseline restraint, it's this one. Standards shouldn't disappear depending on which party holds the microphone. Now, the deeper question, why did I bring any of this up at all? Because perspective matters. Not complacency, perspective. There's a rhetorical escalation that has been happening in our culture for years. Oppression gets used to describe everything from actual tyranny to someone wearing a red hat. when possibly the freest political system in the world is labeled oppressive, the word starts to lose meaning. We're seeing this time and time again with all manner of escalated rhetoric, where words are losing meaning. And when words lose meaning, so does judgment. You can criticize America. In fact, at different times, more people probably should. Dissent is very American. But I'd argue that not diving off a rhetorical cliff and turning every molehill into a mountain is also American. Here's what I find poetically ironic. The very freedom that allows these representatives to loudly and crudely condemn this country is the evidence that their most sweeping accusations don't hold up. It's not my intention to tell anyone, not even these two, to be grateful and shut up. No, I'm not looking to silence anybody. What I'm suggesting is calibrate your language. And yeah, I said America is a better country than these two deserves. I have no regrets whatsoever, nor any desire to reword it. What I said wasn't cruel. What I said applies to the fact that a country that gives you maximum liberty deserves at least minimal acknowledgement of that liberty, even from its loudest critics. In this instance, the United States is and has been giving more grace to Representatives Omar and Tlaib than they have reciprocated. And so it follows that, yes, this is a better country than they deserve. Or perhaps a better way to put it is a better country than these two have earned. Look, you can love something and critique it. And you can critique something and measure it honestly. Those aren't opposites. Now let me leave you with something bigger. Because as you know, I try to elevate things. There's a mental model at play here. If you describe everything as catastrophic, your brain stops distinguishing between inconvenience and tyranny. Once that distinction collapses, you can't prioritize. You can't problem solve. You can't improve. Calibration determines clarity. You know, that's worth repeating. Listen again. Calibration determines clarity. If your definition of oppression includes a system that lets you heckle its leader on national television without fear, then your definition needs refinement. Calibration, in other words. Perspective isn't surrendering your ideals, it's precision. And precision is how adults fix things. All right, that's enough for today. We'll continue tomorrow. And as always, be useful.